and is willing to recognize that they owe the people something, you could get a nice water supply from groundwater, and that would be so much better. The water quality would be better than surface water. And the surface water, every time it rains, the mud gets stirred up. They have to fix the mud problem. But if you could use groundwater, where the water is stable and clean, that came from the mountains, that would be a much better situation. So sure enough, this water goes down, and you can see here's the flat plain. Okay, next please. Here's another slide that is showing you where the Bighorn Mountains and the Pryor Mountains are. These blue areas represent places where there's more snow and rain that falls. As a matter of fact, 24 inches falls up here, whereas about 12 fall out in the plains. Once that water gets into those rock layers, the water makes its way out across the reservation, and as Mr. Russell said, billions of gallons are going beneath our feet every day. And some of our non-Indian users are using groundwater here on the reservation. Not 1 cent is being paid. Next. Am I the only one that knows about groundwater on the reservation? Absolutely not. From a report from the Bureau of Land Management in 2002, they said this quote. Now it's kind of technical, but bear with me. The pronounced geologic structures, semi-arid climate, and sculptured terrain lead to highly varied, but often prolific, groundwater resources within the reservation. Prolific is a word for, gee, there's a lot of that stuff there. There's a lot of water there. Next. So there are a lot of non-Indians that know that the Crow Reservation has a lot of groundwater. If this Compact and Settlement Act passes, then any new projects that take place, they will become junior. Unless, of course, you can make a claim to a water project, right, and assign an 1868 water right date to that. That, to me, seems like an important point to make tonight. So where are all these rock layers that have all this water? This orange line here, this is Crow Agency, where we are tonight. This orange line goes right through. We're going to slice open the earth and turn it on its side, and they call this a cross-section. Next picture. So what you can see, there are more than a dozen of these rock strata layers that have sufficient water in them for beneficial uses. Some of them, granted, are very deep. Like the project I was talking about, you probably wouldn't want to drill that well in Crow Agency because it would be 5,000 feet deep. Next. This is another slide that you can't read back there, but this came from the same BLM report, Bureau of Land Management report. There are two blue boxes here that I just want to tell you what they're about. So maybe you can see the blue box from the back of the room. The blue box on this side, these are the years when the wells were drilled. And so between here and here is 1940 to 1999. When you add up all these wells that were drilled, there's more than 1,700 wells that have been drilled since before 1999. So if you drill a well and you have a water project, and you are junior to all of these water rights holders, they can object to your project. And many of these are non-Indians. How deep are the wells that were drilled? Well, more than 2,000 wells are less than 300 feet deep, which tells me that these deeper rock strata layers that have a lot of water in them, prolific is what the BLM is calling it, they haven't really even been tapped, and they're not being considered and included in this Compact and Water Rights Settlement Act. Next. Next. Is water an important topic? Absolutely. I am convinced that in the future, water will be worth more than oil. If you vote no on this compact, you will have to go back to square one. You will have to do your own water code. You'll have to write your own compact. But if you can include things like groundwater resources and then allow for the projects that you want to be done, plus set the rates that you wish to collect from non-Indians and other land users on the reservation that are after your priority date, you can set up that kind of structure. Next. And so, I tried to make this summary. Okay, so a point has been raised earlier about whether you actually say goodbye to unclaimed water or not. So that's still there. You heard the response. Any new water projects, though, it seems that you will become junior to pre-existing water right users, including non-Indians. There is $460 million promised. There are no individual checks that will be written. This is all allocated for other things. Something else that I haven't taken the time to describe is, if this is signed, then a department will be created on the reservation called the Tribal Water Rights Department. The Tribal Water Rights Department will essentially become a puppet agency for the DNRC in Montana, in the state. Why am I saying that? Because any new water projects that are proposed on the reservation will have to go through that department. If there are any water right holders that are before 1999 and this project might harm their water rights, they will deny that water project. If it turns out that they think it'll be okay, they send that on to the DNRC, and the DNRC evaluates the project, and then they make a decision. If the DNRC thinks that there might be a problem, they'll post it in the paper, and people can object to the water. Now this is where I've had a lot of experience. I've been to a number of water rights hearings where what happens is